Hi, this is the video to explain new changes to the spectogram. The number one is more zoom. In previous version, this was the max zoom, and now you can do more zoom. The number two is this offset slider. Now you can move the offset of the spectrum. This is very useful if you combine with zoom, because, for example, here you have a gap with few pixels, but if you want to see what's happening there, you can use more zoom, but the offset is at max level, so you are observing this top side of the cuboid, and you can use zoom and observe the borders at the same time. The change number three is new labels to indicate what is the side of the cuboid. In that case, left side. Points in that area are in the left of the cuboid, and points there are in right of the cuboid. If you change the axis, you get points at the front of the cuboid and back the cuboid, and in this axis, of course, top of the cuboid and bottom of the cuboid, up and down. The change number four is in x-axis. We change left and right for consistency. This is because, for example, if the car is pointing from there to there, so points in that area should be in left of the car. This is for consistency. For example, if I go to this frame and I move the car to get points in left of the car, I have points there in left of the car. Other important change is the scrubbing and changing the frame from the spectrogram. You can click the spectrogram, move the cursor, and you will change the frame when you release your mouse. But if you use that with dynamic APC, you can fast scrub from there. So if you want to observe, for example, what's happening in the left of the cuboid, you can observe at the same time the cursor in the right position and scrubbing. So you can detect, for example, here we have gap between the points and the border, but not points outside the cuboid, and now we have points just in the border, and now we have points outside the cuboid, and you can observe that in the same position. When you release the mouse, you navigate to that frame. So current frame now is, for example, in that case, I can scrub to frame number 20, and then I release the mouse, and the scene will change to frame number 20. In this version, we replace the fixed or dynamic version for this tracking slider. That means you can have the movement of the car just like in the timeline. If you change that, you can observe how the car is moving. For example, in that frame, the car is moving right. So I can see how that blue line, which represents the center of the cuboid, are moving right. I can correct this, and that point will move with my movement. Yes, so you can have a static version like previous fixed version, or dynamic version where the points are following the car movement in that case. Just like in the timeline, but the timeline is in world coordinate, but this is in local coordinate of the cuboid. That means this is right for the cuboid, but no x in the world coordinates like the timeline. But it's useful to understand what's happening and why, for example, we have a gap in that part. In that part, we have a gap not because the car is moving, but because the cuboid is moving, right? So we can understand why we have a gap in that part and correct it. And the last small change is you can press Shift and B to change the axis. Just like you press B to change the view in that part, with Shift and B you change the axis in the spectrum. Thank you.